Hello, I'm Evan Mitchell, Music Director of the Kingston Symphony Orchestra, and for the week of April the 11th, here's what's on. So this week we bid a very fond farewell to our Masterworks series for the 2015-2016 season. This is our last Masterworks series concert of the year, and boy, are we ever going out in style. This is an enormous concert. We have easily the largest ensemble we've had on stage yet this year, and we are celebrating music that was inspired by dance. We have waltzes, we have ballets, and we have a symphonic suite from one of the most popular pieces written in the 20th century, and that, of course, is Leonard Bernstein's West Side Story. Our final Masterworks concert of the season takes place one afternoon only, and that is Sunday, April 17th at 2:30 p.m. at the Isabel Bader Centre for the Performing Arts. And like every single one of our Masterworks series concerts this season, every single one, this concert is sold out. But don't fret. If you give us a call at our office at 613-546-9729, you can be placed on a waiting list, and then we'll let you know as soon as a ticket becomes available for you, because we definitely don't want you to miss out on this amazing concert. So we begin this celebration of all things symphonic dance with an extraordinary waltz. This is Franz Lehar's Gold and Silver Waltz, which is one of my very favorite waltzes. And it was commissioned by a Viennese princess who wanted to have something sparkling to dance to at one of her luxurious balls. And so Franz Lehar definitely delivered in this regard, and it was a really inspired choice because he had actually proved himself to be quite adept at writing wonderful waltzes in all of his operettas. And so this is a standalone piece, but it's one of the very finest waltzes ever created, in my opinion. Beautiful orchestration, it's just shimmering and extraordinary, and it has some of the great waltz melodies, some of the very best that exist in the repertoire. So here's a little snippet of Franz Lehar's Gold and Silver Waltz. Finishing off the first half, we're going to be performing Bernstein's epic symphonic dances from West Side Story. And what this basically is a symphonic arrangement of all the greatest hits from Bernstein's landmark musical West Side Story, which in and of itself, of course, is a modern-day telling of the Romeo and Juliet story. And of course, Bernstein knocked West Side Story out of the park when he composed it. It became an instant classic, incredible melodies, and just an amazing piece of music. And so he always sort of fretted that he never had a symphonic composition that was related to this piece, because in the original West Side Story orchestration, it's sort of a stage band, a pit band. And so when he was offered the opportunity to make an orchestral suite from this music, he jumped at it. And the result is an unbelievable piece, one of my very favorites. And I've never actually conducted it before. So that's yet another reason for me to be looking forward to this concert, because the symphonic dances from West Side Story are just, they're fabulous. It's just such a great piece of music. It's filled with great bombast, great intimacy, and an unbelievable orchestral score. So here is the Cha-Cha-Cha from the symphonic dances from West Side Story, one of my favorite parts of this suite. Next up, we're going to be performing one of the most popular pieces in the world, Ravel's Bolero. And this is a really extraordinary piece. It's very singular. There is only one piece in the entire repertoire like Bolero. It is like nothing else that you've ever heard, and it's like nothing else that's ever been written since. because Bolero has an incredibly tight focus. When Ravel was putting this ballet score together, he had the idea that he wanted to put together a piece of music that really didn't contain much content. It was just an orchestrational exercise in using all the various colors available to him in the orchestra in a very specific way, all while starting at the very quietest and softest dynamic and leading up a huge 15-minute long crescendo to basically the upper limit of loudness of the orchestra. And boy, did he ever achieve an incredible piece in doing so. That is literally all this piece is. It is a rhythm, which is played by the snare drum from the very first bar to the very last bar. And over top of that, we have a very simple harmony and then just two long free-form melodies that are performed one after the other by various instruments in the orchestra, initially by themselves. At the very first time we hear it is in the flute in the first couple of bars. And then after individual instruments play these solos as the orchestra gets louder, then more groups of the orchestra start playing it together. And by the end, the entire orchestra is playing these two melodies, and it is just such an exciting and invigorating piece of music. You have to hear it live to get the full experience of what it is like to understand Bolero's greatness. So to give you an idea about what it's all about, if you haven't heard this unbelievable piece before, I'm going to play for you the trombone solo. This is the B melody. There's, of course, the A melody and the B melody. The trombone is playing the B melody, and it's one of the most evocative solos of this melody because the trombone, of course, has the slide to be able to scoop up and down into various parts of this melody. So whenever I think of Bolero, I particularly think of this trombone solo. So I'm going to play this solo for you now. And we are ending this concert, and in fact, our Masterwork series this year, with the music from Stravinsky's Firebird. And this was the piece that started it all for Stravinsky. Up to this point, he was virtually unknown. And with the commission of this particular ballet from the Ballet Russe, Stravinsky vaulted to the very top of the compositional heap, and justifiably so, because Firebird remains to this day one of the most colorful and exciting pieces ever created. And to me, it actually has the best ending, my very favorite ending of any work in the orchestral repertoire. And so it seems that Stravinsky was really excited and inspired by the colorful tale of the Russian Firebird and all of his adventures with Prince Ivan. And at the end of this, when they're sort of celebrating the victory over the evil Emperor Kachai and all is well, this ballet closes out with just such a triumphant ending. I'm pretty much thinking about that ending as soon as the piece starts. It's just unbelievable, and of course, that's what I'm going to play for you right now. So for this week, that's What's On. A big thank you to our friends at Templeman Meninga for being the What's On podcast sponsor. If you'd like to learn more about this program or any of the other concerts the Kingston Symphony performs, then browse to kingstonsymphony.on.ca. Purchasing tickets couldn't be easier. You can just give us a call at 613-530-2050 and speak with one of our wonderful customer service representatives, or you can browse to kingstonsymphony.on.ca. For the Kingston Symphony Orchestra, I'm Evan Mitchell, and I'll see you at the concert.